Today we're meeting Paula. You might mistake her for a British soap opera star, or you might call her Popsie, but you won't get her to sleep in a tent, even for a bowl of coconut and coffee ice cream. She collects travel guides and Tinkerbell pins, and today she's going to talk about Spain, one of her favorite countries. So there we go, April.
Yeah, welcome, Paula. The timer's starting.
Okay.
So how many times have you been to Pueblo Ingles? And tell us about your first time.
Okay, I've been 7 times so far. I should be there next month as well, but unfortunately with the coronavirus, that's not going to happen. I've been to Spain lots and lots of times. It's my absolute favourite country. And I've always loved Spain. I don't know why. And years ago, probably about 2007, 2008, there was a BBC travel programme on TV. And there was an article about, it started with the presenter saying, would you like a free holiday in Spain? But of course, who wouldn't? My kids were quite young at the time, so it wasn't the right time to go. But they basically showed you this place. They called it El Pueblo Ingles, the English village. And it's a place where companies send their English-speaking employees who want to go to kind of learn more about colloquial English. And the idea is that they have about 20 to 25 Spaniards. They all speak really good English, actually, generally. And they need to bring in the same number, more or less, of what they call Anglos, which is native English speakers from all over the world. They can be from the UK, from the States, from Australia, Ireland, all sorts of places. And basically we spend a week speaking to them, which sounds really easy. It's actually sometimes quite hard because it's non-stop. You do have to speak all the time. But it's just the most fun thing you could possibly do. For us in the UK, it's really cheap to get over to Spain. It costs less for me to fly to and from Spain than it does for me to take a train from where I live 3 hours away from London into London and back. It's ridiculously cheap. And what we normally do is I go with some friends, including the lovely Sheila, who you've met before, and another lady called Kate from England. We tend to go to Madrid for a few nights before the programme starts, and we stay a few nights afterwards. There are lots of people from all over the world who will do it as part of a tour of Europe. So maybe someone's come over from Australia and they're going to do a bit of France, a bit of Spain, a bit of Greece. And they want a week in Spain where they can relax. They get put up, we all get put up in this absolutely beautiful old hotel up in the mountains in a village called La Alberca, and it's tiny, it's medieval, tiny little cobbled streets with boxes of flowers on the balconies, really quiet, with a little church, lots of history. And we stay at this hotel on the outskirts of the village in a sort of self-contained area where all the people in our little area are doing Pueblo Ingles. And it always goes from Friday to Friday. On the Thursday before it starts, Pueblo Ingles gets all the Anglos together who are already in Spain, and we have a meal. So we get to know each other and we find out where everyone's from, and we see people we've seen before a lot of the time. On the Friday morning, we have to get to the pickup point where the coach meets us and the Spaniards to take us off to La Alberca, to this beautiful hotel. And the Anglos are all saying, hi, lovely to see you again. Did you have a nice day yesterday? The Spaniards are all like this. They have no idea what's going to hit them. Most of them are terrified because they've never had to speak nothing but English for a week. And that's the idea. No Spanish is allowed. And we get on the coach, we have to sit Spaniard, Anglo, all the way across. We have to talk to each other. So you've got this long journey up into the mountains, speaking English to someone who's desperately trying not to be sick with nerves. And you get to know them pretty well. When we get there, there's all sorts of get to know you games and things, and the meals are wonderful. We get fed 3 meals a day. with wine at each meal, lovely food. We have to sit with two Anglos, two Spaniards on each table, so we have to speak all the time. We do a very, very heavily timetabled program of conversation, one-to-one or in groups, but we also have fun. We have party nights, we have a trip into the local village, we do silly games, we do bits of theatre. By the end of the week, all these people who are complete strangers to you are real friends, and everybody cries, including the men on the last day, because it just gets so emotional, and it is so much fun, so much fun. And usually on the last night, when we're bussed back to Madrid, several of us will meet up and go for a meal together and just reminisce about the week, and it's fabulous.
It sounds beautiful. You just painted a beautiful, magical portrait for us. Like I was following along. So thank you for sharing that. It sounds like you've made some wonderful friends. I mean, we've met Sheila, we know her, and you've met other folks. Do you meet and stay in contact with some of the Spaniards that you meet also?
Absolutely, lots and lots of them. From the very first time I went, which was in 2011, I'm still friends with many of them, and quite often people from old programs will meet us when we're in Madrid and say hello. And I also keep in contact by Skype with a Spanish guy, so we do half an hour one week speaking English so he can practice, and the following week we practice my Spanish, so that's nice. It's just so much fun. It's such a big part of my life now.
Wow.
Fabulous. Oh my gosh. So any suggestions for someone who wants to do this as well?
Don't be scared. You don't have to speak Spanish. You speak English at whatever level you want. You can talk about anything you want, and you will come back with feeling as if your life has been thoroughly enriched. And you must be able to let your hair down a bit, because you do all sorts of really silly things, and it's so much fun. And just heartwarming to see them, how they all improve.
It sounds like a great way to travel and have a beautiful experience at the same time, right? You get to get a beautiful small country town in Spain, and you get to meet these wonderful people. Oh, I'm talking through it.
That's our 7 minutes. Oh my gosh, that was so beautiful, Paula. That's our 7 minutes. Thank you, Paula, for sharing your story about Pueblo Ingles. So click below to subscribe to our channel to hear more real stories from real travelers. Thanks, Paula.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely meeting you.